Winjie Crosses Flat Bridge by R. Dorsia Wood. Winjie found it hard to sleep that night. He tossed and turned and kept glancing through the bedroom window, hoping to see the sun begin to rise. He was excited about the next day. He was going on a road trip to Kingston with his family, and they were going to cross the Flat Bridge, Jamaica's most famous bridge, and Winjie was going to see it for the very first time. He glanced at his glow-in-the-dark clock on the bedroom wall and saw that it was almost 5 in the morning. The rooster started crowing almost immediately. Winjie took that as an alarm and jumped out of bed. The rooster crowed twice every morning, 3 o'clock and at 5 o'clock, and it had already crowed once before. His mother heard the movements and called out to him. "Winjie, are you that?" she said. "Yes, Mommy," he replied. "Boy, go back in your bed. And not time to get up yet," she shouted to him. "But Mommy, I double checking my bag to make sure I have everything in it, and I'm making sure nobody didn't move my clothes." "Boy, go back in your bed. Everything is where it should be. You're going to be tired if you don't get any sleep and miss the whole trip because you sleep it out as usual." "But Mommy, I can't." "Boy, don't make me come up there to you." Upon hearing that, not another sound was heard but Winjie's scurrying footsteps back to his room and into bed. He lay there silently, staring through the window, looking out for the sunrise. He just couldn't sleep. By 7 o'clock, everybody was ready to leave. Winjie was the first in the car, with his little knapsack beaming with excitement. He was remembering what his teacher had taught him about the Flat Bridge. It is one of Jamaica's oldest bridges, and it is located in the Bogwalk Gorge in the parish of St. Catherine. It lies flat across the Rio Cobre River, which is Spanish for Copper River. No one knows the exact date the bridge was built, but it is said to have been after 1724. It was first built with logs by the Spanish, but a flood washed the original structure away, and it was rebuilt by slaves. It was first called River Road Bridge, and then 16-Mile Walk. "Winjie, you sleeping already?" His mother disturbed his thoughts. Winjie snapped out of his daydream. "No, Mommy!" He forced his eyes open. He cursed himself for falling asleep. They were approaching the gorge now, and excitement peaked. He was going to force himself to stay awake this time to see if he can get a glimpse of the mermaid that they say lived under the bridge and of the golden table that floats on the water. They say for years people have been trying to fish out the table, but with no success. The golden table is said to have special powers, and Winjie was hoping that he could get some of that power to increase his strength. He was tired of being known as the smallest and weakest person in his class. He wanted to fish the golden table out of the water. His mother decided to stop and buy shrimp and fruits at one of the vendors when they were closer to the bridge. So she asked Winjie, "What you want, boy? Shrimp or mango?" This was one of Winjie's reasons for loving road trips. Food! "I want both, Mommy, please!" He was now sitting up on his seat, very attentive of his surroundings. He looked out of the car window and realized that they were now approaching the Flat Bridge. So far, he had not seen the mermaid nor the golden table as they drove along the Rio Cobre. He would love to be the first to fish the golden table from the river. They pulled off the road just before the traffic light. After crossing Flat Bridge, it would not be long before they arrived in Kingston. They were spending the weekend there at his aunt's house. Then they would drive using the south coast and go to visit his favorite uncle Jasper, who lived in St. Elizabeth. So, if he was to fish the golden table out of the river, now would be the only chance in a long time. His mother was now negotiating with a flatbridge vendor and choosing the best mangoes and shrimp to purchase. Winjie continued to anxiously stare at the flowing green waters of Rio Cobre, insisting that today was the day he would seize the moment. The thought had not left his mind when he spotted a shiny yellow object floating down the riverbed towards the bridge. He looked around, expecting others on the bridge to see it, but nobody realized what was happening. His mother had given him his shrimp and was standing outside the vehicle with her back turned to the river eating, but nobody saw. Winjie was very tiny for his age. He was the smallest in his grade 4 class, and he was always teased about his small structure and the fact that he was weaker than the rest of the boys in his class. In fact, he was even weaker than some of the girls too. He really believed the tale that the golden table has powers to make him stronger. He unbuckled his seatbelt quietly and slid out the back door of the vehicle on the side that his mother could not see, but not before grabbing his rope from the trunk. He had slipped it there and hid it under the bags his mother had packed in. He hid beside the car out of sight from the view of the adults and kept his eyes focused on the golden table. The table stays at the bottom of the river and only surfaces every now and then. Same with the mermaid. She just surfaces every now and then. Just then, it occurred to Winjie that the mermaid and the golden table may just be connected. The mermaid may be the owner of the golden table, and maybe she's the one who brings the table to the surface. But why would she do that? Winjie wondered, while now scanning the water for the mermaid. Sure enough, he saw the table glistening more as it rose higher on the water's surface, and there she was. A very beautiful woman with long flowing hair and soft brown skin, but he could not see her tail. Anxiety grew, and Winjie gripped his rope tighter, ready to cast it and capture both the mermaid and the table. Winjie glanced once more at his mother. Nobody saw what was happening. Nobody saw him, nobody saw the mermaid, and nobody saw the golden table. Without much thought, Winjie cast his rope into the water, aiming at the table. His intention was to drag the table out of the mermaid's hands. His grandfather taught him how to throw a cast rope. Now, as he threw his rope into the water, he was surprised at his accuracy. First cast, and he caught it. Yes! Winjie screamed while bracing to pull the golden table in. Luck was not on his side, however, as the beautiful mermaid was giving a keen eye. Without much effort, she got a hold of the rope, and with a simple tug, Winjie was pulled from the road into the deep green waters of the Rio Cobre. Many believe that there is a blue hole beneath the flat bridge. Winjie was about to find out if this was true. By the time he realized that he was fully immersed in water, the swift mermaid had already tied the rope to his waist. He was strangely not suffocating as she released the floating golden table and allowed it to sink into the green depths of the river, pulling Winjie down, down, and even further down beneath the flat bridge. The journey seemed to take forever as he was pulled beneath the water. Fear swept over Winjie as he wondered what would happen to him for trying to steal the mermaid's golden table. Suddenly, there was a loud roar as water pushed him inside a bright blue tunnel. The golden table was still strapped to him, so he tried to loosen the knots to get free, but the mermaid was behind him. "That will not work," said a low, smooth voice behind him. "Why did you try to steal my golden table?" Winjie was scared out of his wits as he stared at her long, glowing green and blue tail. He did not know what to say to her. It was only then that he realized that there was a big bubble around his head, and that was his source of oxygen. She waved her hand in a funny motion, and the rope around his waist loosened. The golden table was now propped in a corner, its golden glow not so bright, as there was no sun in the tunnel to reflect the shine of the gold. Just the subtle glow of the mermaid's beautiful tail. "Why did you try to steal my golden table?" she asked again. Winjie opened his mouth to talk, but fear made him silent. "Why did you try to steal my golden table?" the mermaid asked yet again. I just wanted to be the first to grab it from the river so that people will stop saying that I am too small to manage anything," Winjie said, speaking so quickly that all his words seemed to be rolling over each other. A smile came across the mermaid's face. "So you want to be bigger?" she asked. "Yes, so that they can stop calling me Winjie and saying that I am weak. I want to lift big things and not get teased." Winjie complained. "I was not going to keep your table. I just wanted to fish it out of the water and get fame for doing so. I also know about the powers that it will give to the person who touches it. I just wanted to get stronger." "So, you did not want it for riches?" the beautiful mermaid asked. "No, Miss Mermaid," he replied. "In that case, here is what we're going to do. I am going to allow you to touch the golden table. When you touch the table, you will gain the strength of 7 men. You will still be the same size, but you will be stronger than everybody in your class." Winjie's excitement swelled. If it was up to him, he would have dived at the golden table immediately at this invitation, but he had to wait until the mermaid gave him permission to go. She swam over to him and took his hand in hers. Her hand felt clammy and smooth. No scales there. It seemed the only scales were on her tail. She led him to the golden table and rested his hands on the smooth gold cold of the tabletop. The mermaid started to do a funny swirly movement with her tail. She closed her eyes and started to sing. "River mama pon rock is able, river mama in a river water, river mama with her golden table make the boy get stronger." Like magic, the room got bright as the golden table powers entered Winjie. That was weird, Winjie thought. How comes I don't feel any different? The mermaid then put something in his hand. "This is one of my many golden combs. You can take it back to the surface when you are leaving. Let this be a reminder of the day you gained your strength." "Thank you," Winjie said, excited. Can I show my family and my friends?" "Yes, but they may not believe you when you tell them about this." Winjie hung his head in disappointment. "At least you gained strength, and that you can show off anytime you wish. No one will doubt that you are strong, Winjie," the mermaid said to cheer him up. "Come now, let's get you back to your family." They had arrived at his aunt's house in Kingston, and his mother was unpacking the vehicle when she shouted to him, "Boy, me tell you say did forgo your bed. Same thing happen, you sleep out the whole trip." And then he woke up.